What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television, and I want to thank all of you for stopping by, liking, commenting, sharing all of that beautiful YouTube stuff. I hope that today is the day that we earn that subscription. The march to 500 subscribers continues, and today we're going to be reviewing the season premiere of The Last of Us Season 2. Like I said, it's the season premiere, so it's the first episode of the brand new season of The Last of Us on HBO Max, and we're going to run down some of the bigger roles that are in this episode. That's entitled Future Days. Of course, we have Bella Ramsey as Elle. We have Pedro Pascal, of course, as Joel. Gabriel Luna as Tommy, Joel's brother. Rutina Wesley as Maria, Tommy's wife. Caitlin Deaver as Abby, a new character being introduced this season in this particular episode. And Catherine O'Hara as Gail, Joel's psychiatrist, a therapist, if you will. And it starts off 5 years ahead from where season one season finale ended. So basically, we're starting 5 years into the future. Elle's 19 years old at this point, and she seems to be very involved in training, if you will, and it seems like she's being very isolated away from Joel as well. It seems their relationship is a bit strained because throughout the episode you don't really see them interact too much, and then when they do interact you can tell there's tension. And Pedro's character, of course, Joel, doesn't seem to really want to acknowledge why he thinks that she's being standoffish as he's with his therapist, Gail. And we can, as the audience, have an idea of why Elle might have a problem here. Unless it's a new problem that arose in the 5 years. But it seems like her asking him if he was lying to her at the end of season one came back and wound up biting him in the ass, because he was lying to her, and she may have found out even years after, because don't forget that this is a 5-year time jump, and the longer she went without knowing and learning the truth of what happened that day, the bigger the hit's going to be when you find out that Joel did lie to you, or that Joel lied to her. So we don't exactly know the full reason why she's not talking to Joel, but I'm sure that it will come out. We also see interactions between Tommy and Elle. He seems to be training her a little bit in this one scene with a sniper rifle, and Joel wants her to do like gate duty, like just patrolling the gate, but she wants to go out on this particular mission to, do the standard, looking for people, taking out these clickers if need be. And Elle wants to do, outside missions, and Tommy agrees, even though he was told not to let her go out and do these particular missions. Joel's been keeping his time busy with being, an electrician and, things to that, effect. He's trying to help, build the community back up. We see him interacting with Maria about the strain of letting too many people into your community, because they had this community they built in Jackson, Wyoming, that you keep letting people in, it's going to strain the resources And so they have like a debate, not a debate, but like a conversation that both sides are valid in their way, because at one point near the end of that conversation, or like near the end of that scene, she reminded him that he was too also a refugee with Elle, and we let you in. And he nodded, acknowledging that you're right, that's true, to compare to his point of like, yes, we want to help people, but we want to be in a better position to help people. We want to be able to help people immediately and not strain our resources. But sometimes life makes you not be able to wait. You have to make certain decisions in a hurry, so to speak. But both sides are definitely having their points validated. I would think so. I can understand both sides. But we also see that Tommy and Maria have a son because he comes running in. Tommy comes back and tells him about wanting to go on the Alpine route, so to speak. And so that wraps up that particular part of the episode. We see Abby, this new character, and we wind up finding out later that her and Elle are going to most likely be a couple. If you're familiar with The Last of Us video games, you do know that Elle does have a girlfriend that is going to be a big part of this season as well, not only just the game. And we also know kind of what's going to wind up happening with Joel, because one thing I want to bring up that was a little Easter egg, excuse me, is that his nephew, Tommy and Marie's son, was doing fake gun fingers towards Joel as if he was shooting him, and Joel going, like being pretending he was being shot. But we know that Joel's death is coming. It's foreshadowing his death that's going to be coming, because the opening scene of this particular episode, I guess I should get into, is that the surviving Fireflies from the end of season 1, they're going to search Joel out and take their revenge on him. And, so at the end of this first episode here, we do see them finally finding the encampment that Joel is at, but we'll see how that winds up going, how long that particular thing is going to be dragged out, because we do have a few episodes, and we're not sure. I'm not sure how close they're going to stay with the game, but you gotta have to give Elle enough time to get her revenge, so to speak. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes when it comes to Joel. Um, but yeah, we see. Actually, there's this big gathering near the end of the episode where um, Elle and Abby. All right, let me start over. Let me quick back on this real quick, even. So they do the Alpine route, right? Elle and Abby and a few other people. And Elle almost gets, excuse me, hurt by a clicker. But this particular clicker seems to be using strategy and thinking and luring Elle into a trap when the clickers weren't normally doing that. So when the group went back, they told the council, and it seems like the clickers are evolving, and they have to keep an eye on that. So I wanted to bring that up in this particular review, that it seems like the clickers are evolving a little bit, using their minds a little bit. So there's this function, the social function in town. It's like a little dance, and you go get some drinks and a couple of burgers or something, and you have yourself a good old time. Elle decides to go out because, again, she's been isolating herself, keeping herself in her room, and only really wants to go out and do missions and train. Excuse me, guys, my throat is dry. So she decides to go to this function, and um, before she goes, Joel comes in and just was checking on her and wanted to restring her guitar because the guitar strings were being all funky, not really being kept up with, and he took it to go do that. They wind up going to the function. Elle is there, and her and Abby start dancing, and Abby is really drunk at this time and starts kind of giving clues that she's into Elle until they finally kiss. Now, even in an apocalypse, two people of the same gender, same sex, however you want to slice it, you guys know what I'm trying to get to. When they see two girls or two guys kiss, the people's minds still get crazy, even in an apocalypse, because they kiss. And it was a little bit of make out kiss. And this guy asked them to stop, saying it's a family function. Now, fair enough, you know what I mean, if that's how you want to leave it. But as they were walking away, he calls them a slur. I'm not gonna say I guess it is a slur. He calls them a slur for lesbians, and I don't know if I want to say the word or not because sometimes these things are taken out of context if they're clipped or anything like that. But he it basically calls them a slur. Joel punches him out, and Elle gets really mad at him and is like, what the f are you doing? He was like, and she was like, I don't need your effing help. Like, really aggressive towards him, and he, kind of just is like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, and I'll leave or whatever, like that. And he leaves, and yeah, that's how that wound up being. And as she goes home, she sees him on the porch fixing the guitar string still. And then we see the people, the Fireflies from the beginning of the episode, come and approach the camp that he's in. And so the attack on Joel will happen probably in the next episode or two. The next episode might be just them taking the whole episode to finally get to him. And then maybe episode 3 is when whatever happens to Joel is going to happen to Joel. I will say that because everyone keeps just telling Joel this is how a 19-year-old girl acts towards a father, and there's something obviously deeper, and we don't know exactly what it is. And it might be one of these things that Elle never gets to apologize to Joel for how she's acting towards him before he winds up dying. I think that's going to wind up being what's happening, and she's going to, carry that guilt with her. But that's just a theory for right now. I'm not too sure of the full lore or the story of the games compared to what they're doing in this show. But if you take this show in a vacuum of itself, um, I think it's been doing pretty decent. I'd have to say that this particular episode I would give a 7.5 for sure because it's setting up questions. The acting is well, the story is well. It's, you know, there's things that you that may aggravate you about why people act the way they do sometimes without communicating. But as far as the show itself is concerned, I would definitely give this particular episode a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. Um, yeah, I like this show. I think that the overall presentation as well. I don't know. Let me know down below, guys, what you're thinking of The Last of Us here. Is it something that you're liking? Is it not? Is it sticking to the script, so to speak, when it comes to the games? I don't know. Let me know all that down below, guys. Until next time, peace.